Hi, everybody. This is totally not Casey Kasem. I'm here today to do the top 40 American radio hits for all you people. Right now, we're going to go to the number one song, and this goes out to all the people out there who are looking to see who's in the next episode of The Performers I Know. Here we go. The number one hit of the day is episode 9, stars Andrew Rosenbloom. Yeah, I don't get it either. Episode 9, The Performers I Know, coming at you, Casey Kasem. These are the performers I know, I know. These are the performers I know. These are the performers I know, I know. These are performers I know. These are the performers I know, I know. These are the performers I know. These are the performers I know, I know. These are performers I know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Performers I Know. This is episode number 9. Yes, I'm very excited about this one. We have from Studio Manhattan, one of the funniest fellas that I know, a genuinely hilarious individual. He is ready and raring to go. His name is Andrew Rosenbloom. Andrew, welcome to the show.
Thanks, it's good to be here, and thank you for calling me funny.
I know a lot of people have called me funny. Some of those people aren't around anymore. Well, no,
Mm.
allegedly. So, once upon a time, around 2019, I was putting together a little show called My Neighbor Aurora, which was a kind of a modern retelling of Sleeping Beauty. And I needed somebody to play the part of Benjamin, the comic relief of the show, and the best friend of the character Philip. I came across Andrew in my travels, and we had the most interesting audition at the Staten Island Mall in the food court. Yes, I'm
Mhm.
not exaggerating when I say this, but that's exactly where it was. And the fact that Andrew nailed his audition in just one line should tell you all you need to know. Now, my question, Andrew, how did you get into acting in theater? What bit you, what got you bitten by the theater?
Oh, well, so when I was in pre-K, we put on a little play based off of a book, and my teacher after that recommended acting because I was so good in it. And as I continued, I really enjoyed it, and so here I am today.
And that book was The Exorcist. Hmm. And Andrew,
Um,
no, no,
no,
no. Okay. That book was It by Stephen King. No?
no, I don't remember the name of the book, but it was something about an alligator.
Okay. Were you the alligator or do you not can't remember?
Um, well, it was like an alligator playing music. I know that sounds strange, but I was like one of his band members.
Oh, okay. Cool, cool. So, yes, we did My Neighbor Aurora with a cast of goons who I don't really associate with anymore, except for Andrew, because Andrew was awesome. And the one thing that I remember clearly is that the first real laughs in the play was Andrew's lines. And that really started my thought process of saying like to myself, Andrew is really freaking funny. Just the way he pronounces things. I can't remember the exact wording of the line, which is kind of strange because I wrote the darn thing. But Andrew, what was your memories of that play, My My Neighbor Aurora.
Um, I was really excited for it. I remember also nervous. I remember being nervous, like going up on stage. And actually, the line that you were talking about, I actually got it confused with another line later on, but I just stuck with it and yeah, so that's really what I remember.
Oh, okay. Well, I remember is during one of the rehearsals, you were supposed to pretend to beat me up as I was playing the sheriff, and you
Mhm.
just did like a double knee drop onto me.
Oh,
I, I broke
sorry.
six. I broke six of my ribs, and I was coughing up blood for 2 months. No, no, not really. I can't back that up. But yes, that really showed me that Andrew was very adept at comedy, very good at comic timing. Andrew, when you first got into doing theater, you know, were you more into doing funny stuff or serious stuff?
Honestly, I've always liked comedy, so that's what I was gunning for. I wanted a lot of those roles, but I also wanted a variety.
Well, I'll tell you what, a lot
Like
of
a
the time,
variety of the stuff that I work in.
right. Well, I mean, to get off the subject for just a moment, Andrew actually had a part in a kind of sort of serious, but not really serious TV show called Evil Lives Here, which seems like a
Oh
rite of passage
yeah.
for all youngsters that I've worked with. Several of them have been in at least one episode. And the thing that I remember is that you played the younger brother of the guy who was like, oh, he's the evil child. Oh my God. And it was Dominic DeGravio, who I've also worked with. Strangely enough, I didn't know that the two of you had worked together before.
Oh.
Yes. So like what was it like having to kind of work in those conditions where you didn't really have lines per se. It seemed it was more like voiceover stuff, and you were miming the actions. Do you remember? Was that a particularly enjoyable experience?
Um, from what I remember, I'm pretty sure I actually said it there.
Oh, you did.
But
Okay.
that was really fun, like having to be tackled and stuff like that.
I mean, you could have you could have taken Dominic and body slammed him if you wanted to, or give him like an elbow drop. No, I don't think
Yeah, that
anybody.
was fun. And when it was in oh, sorry?
I'm just saying, like if you gave him like a Hulk Hogan leg drop, I don't think anybody would mind it. But that's just me.
Well, what was fun is it actually it was in it when it was the scene that I was in was in slow motion. So we were literally going like in slow motion in real time. So it's funny, but yeah, it wasn't really for the scene that I tackled him also.
Right. But Andrew has really shown great comedic timing in the scenes that I've had him in. For example, when he did the monster under the bed with me, um, where he played the youngster who was being terrorized by Sheldon the bed monster. What a lot of people told me is that just his timing is perfect for the character. Now, did you have any kind of inspirations or actors that you kind of looked up to, or is it just one of those things where it was just an innate ability, I guess, that you had that you didn't even know it when it comes to comedic timing?
I guess just innate because no, I don't really know like a lot of comedians like by name, but yeah, it just came to me.
Yeah, like that one guy or that other person or that one comedian that did that one thing.
Mhm,
You remember that, right?
totally.
Probably, yeah. So at least
Yeah,
he's being,
totally. Of course I remember.
yeah. See, he's humoring me, folks. See how nice he is? Oh man. But yeah, Andrew just has that ability to make lines funny. As a matter of fact, when we did our An American Tale reading in December of 2020, Andrew had what I personally believe was the funniest line of the show, where all he had to do was say, "Hey, fellas, want a bite?" And it just had me rolling because that's actually my favorite part of the movie. So yeah, it's you really seem to know just how to do comedy perfectly.
Thank you.
Yes. You had a lot of secondary roles in my shows, a lot of the projects that we've done. But you did have the lead role in our Jack and the Beanstalk presentation where you played Jack and you were your
Mhm.
usual bouncy, talented self. So my let me ask you something. Do you prefer playing the lead or playing like a secondary kind of comedic relief?
Well, I if I can steal the secondary character or get the lead, it doesn't matter to me.
As long as you're having fun. Yeah,
Yep, exactly.
right. Because a lot of the times, a theme that I seem to have when I have these shows where Andrew plays like a second or third from the top role is, oh, that Andrew, he's a scene stealer. He steals the show. He is so funny. And I really think that's very true. Um, and that is why most of the time when I write shows and I have a character that's very comedic and very like potential show stealer, that's the first person that comes to mind. Like, Andrew could just knock this out of the park. So, like, when you were Pips the Squirrel in A
Oh
Tailor-Made
yeah.
Hero, fantastic.
Thank you.
Yes. It was that was a very, very hard one to do because I had pretty much everybody was separate and I had to record people and stitch it all together. Would you say that's a bigger challenge for you working and doing lines where you're not interacting with anybody? Um, by that I mean, like, do you consider it like interesting or a challenge, or would you prefer to have the people there in person?
Um, well, so for some of yours, it was just me, and then you like edit it together so that it looks like we were talking with each other.
Yeah.
Um, and I always found that kind of difficult because it was you didn't know how you were supposed to react to something, so you might have anticipated them to say the line before you as angry, but then when the actual thing comes out, they're actually sad and you respond to them as if they were angry. So that's a little bit difficult, but it is actually kind of interesting how it works.
Yeah, it really gets the brain meat flowing, doesn't it? Where you have to go, okay, how am I supposed to react in this situation? Because there's
Mhm.
been many times where I've done recordings where I'm not with my scene partners. So I have to kind of look at the script and kind of take a guess as to how I'm doing it. But there's also the fact that you can have a director going, "No, no, you're supposed to be sad, not angry,"
Mhm.
which is usually what I do with Andrew. But most of the time the people are there. Oh man. When I when I think there was one in particular, Brom versus Crane that you did, and that really showed a more like tough guy side of you. Like I said, you just you'll play whatever, just as long as you're having fun, right?
Mhm. Exactly.
Yes. Now, but recently, I think it was last year maybe, Andrew was in Damn Yankees, and he
High
got
School
to
Musical, yes.
Yes, you got to flex your singing chops. And I
Hmm.
remember, your mom used to tell me that you really weren't the biggest fan of singing. Have you kind of come around to it, or are you still, you more prefer the acting side of things?
Um, if I have to sing, I will, but acting's really what I like most. But I am gonna have to get by singing because I got into the school musical this year as a lead, and I have a solo. So,
Whoa, wait a minute. You
oh,
got the, you're gonna have to tell me about this one. Who are you playing? What show?
well, our school musical is Anything Goes, and I got Lord Evelyn.
Oh, yes. Oh man, what the heck is the name of his song?
The Gypsy and Me.
Yes, that's it. The Gypsy.
Hmm.
I, when I was in high school about 1,000 years ago, I was Elijah Whitney.
Oh,
Like I got to
that's
play,
cool.
yeah, I just got to play half drunk on stage and got my glasses knocked off and all that good stuff. Are you so have you done any research into the character of Lord Evelyn? And like,
Well,
or are you just
I
kind of
oh,
like, yes?
what were you saying?
I said, did you do any research, or are you kind of just like gonna put your own little Andrew spin on it?
Um, well, he is a comedic character in general, so that's gonna be a pretty easy part, but I'm also gonna have to speak in British, so I don't
Yeah.
know.
Hey, do you know what this character is? You dirty rat. You dirty rat. I'm
Mm,
almost certain that was a line that character has, or something like that.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, not as sorry as I am. Because a lot of these junior shows kind of like switch things around a little bit. So I'm an old man who's yelling at a cloud. I don't know what these junior versions are.
Oh, we're not
Uh,
doing the junior version.
oh, you're doing the full length version, huh?
Yeah, we're doing the one based off of the 2021 reiteration.
Oh yeah, that's one's a little different from the original. Yes.
Yeah.
Now you've done a lot of television shows, but one thing in particular that I can't help but notice is that you were pretty chummy with Harry Connick Jr. How in the world did that happen? How did you get onto that show?
Oh, I don't even know. I think my mom just found it on Backstage and she's like, "Hey Andrew, do you want to do this?" And I had no clue who this guy was. Harry Connick Jr. I'm like, "Who?" I was like, "He's famous. Just if you want to do it, do it." So I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." And when I got there, I'm like, "Wow, this is impressive." Because there was
Yeah.
like so many people and it was like very professional. And so yeah, that's how it happened.
Hmm. I wish I could have met Harry Connick Jr. Say, hey, I loved you in The Iron Giant. You remember that, right? He was in that movie. You were in that movie, right, Harry? Something like
I don't
that.
know. Um, but yeah,
Wow, man. I'm very proud of you that you were able to get the Lord Evelyn role in Anything Goes.
thank you.
I'm very much looking forward to seeing that. When is it going to be? When will you be performing in that?
I think like April.
In April. All right, I'm gonna have to buy my tickets early because I know tickets will be flying out the door when people see Andrew's name on the list. Like, oh, Andrew Rosenbloom is in this. I gotta get myself a piece of that action. Gotta see him in action. Gotta see him parlay. Oh
Why,
yeah,
thank you.
you're welcome. I mean, we all know you can do accents because you played a country bumpkin just this past November in Rooster's Grand Adventure. You
Oh
got to
yeah.
see your hillbilly self.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
right.
oh yeah. And you I mean most of the kids in the cast looked at me like I had 17 heads when I said like, the theme of this is alternative and grunge bands like Alice in Chains and Jane's Addiction. And like everybody was just like Alice in what? Jane's who? So, I mean, was it an interesting concept for you in terms of stuff that you haven't really heard of? I mean, I don't know if your mom really explained to you who these bands were.
I've I've never heard of a lot of those names. But it's kind of fun hearing like new music.
Yes. I mean, I'm glad I was able to introduce that music to you guys. Whether or not you actually like it is a different story, but you know, that's the way it goes. Another thing that I can't help but mention, because I'm always pleased as punch whenever the people that I work with are on special shows. You got yourself on Saturday Night Live.
I did, and I actually got on it twice. Um, the first time, well, both times I was an extra. The first one was with RuPaul and Justin Bieber. And I was one of the kids in the crowd when RuPaul was like reading books,
Hmm.
and I was right near Beck Bennett. I was supposed to be his son. And obviously you can't see this, but I just did quotation marks. So, um,
I could tell that was a quotation. The
yep,
son.
I was like, son. Yeah, so I actually sat on his lap. And then the second time, it was with Amy Schumer and I want to say Steve Lacy. And basically, what I did was I was a kid running across the scene wearing a Jets jersey and holding this big inflatable football.
And almost running into Keenan Thompson, which I'm sure would have been awesome. Oh man, what's it like being in an atmosphere like that? Because you've been on stage before. I mean, you were on Harry Connick Jr.'s show, but this is Saturday Night Live, which is like the mecca of television. What was your impression being in that studio and seeing all that stuff going on?
It was crazy because it's like when so what Saturday Night Live does is they bring you in on Friday, the day before you're gonna film,
We're getting some backstage info. Okay, go on.
and you basically practice, like you practice your scene. And it was so crazy seeing them like setting up the set and everything. We literally watched them paint like a wall. And
Hmm.
so it was really crazy, especially because when we got to the scene, I didn't expect the actual cast to be there. And so I walk in and thinking it's just gonna be like just the three kids with me. And then I see like Amy Schumer and Keenan Thompson right in front of me. So that was really crazy.
Hey, Keenan, I loved you a good burger. Hey,
I've actually
Amy.
never seen it.
Hey, Amy. Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I've always heard, the number one rule if you're in like a show like that is like don't gawk at the stars. Just, you know, treat them like normal individuals. But it
Yeah.
doesn't help. It doesn't hurt that you've never seen Good Burger because then you can't be like, hey, so like, what was it like working with Cal on all that? No.
Yeah. I I haven't watched Good Burger.
My advice to you, Andrew, don't watch it. But anyway,
Don't
yes,
watch it. Good to know.
don't. Yeah, you might want to get a piece of paper and write that down.
Mhm.
Oh
I
man.
got my notebook right here.
All right, good, good. So as the as we see the clock winding down on our episode, we are running out of time in our journey together. My last question, Andrew, question which I ask of all my guests. If somebody were to come up to you and say, "Hey, Andrew, I'm thinking of getting into theater and acting," what piece of advice would you give to them in order to the best piece of advice you would have for somebody who wants to get into acting?
Oh, that's tough, but if I had to say one thing, it's that not you're not gonna get all the roles, but don't let that discourage you. Because if you keep on trying and work harder and harder, you will get something. And so I guess my piece of advice is you're not gonna get everything, but keep on trying.
That is absolutely very good piece of advice. Well, thank you very much, Andrew, my dear, dear funny friend. It was very good to have you here.
Thank you. Same here.
Yes, as the outro plays us out, I will give a tip of my cap, the cap you can't see, and say thank you all very much for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. Good night. These are the performers I know, I know. These are the performers I know. These are the performers I know, I know. These are performers I know.